What is going on, everybody? Super Yankee for Life here once again. I'm here with my picks for week number 4. I can't believe we're already week 4 of the 2019 NFL season. I think going forward for the rest of the year, I'm not going to do any Thursday night football predictions. I thought about doing one yesterday before the Packers Eagles game, but ultimately I just decided, you know what? I think I'm just going to skip on the Thursday predictions. And that includes the 3 Thanksgiving Day games that will take part in November, as they do every year. So going forward, it'll just be Sunday and Monday games that I will predict with these picks videos for the rest of the year. Starting with, for the Sunday games, Tennessee at Atlanta. I will give the check mark to the Falcons on this one. If this game was in Nashville, I probably would lean towards the Titans, but I'm gonna go with the Falcons at home with the home field advantage. I don't know about Tennessee, man. Like every time you feel like they are starting to build some type of momentum, they lose at home to Indianapolis, and then they offensively they don't look very good whatsoever. Against Jacksonville last week, but it just I think Mariota's still the guy. I think he can still be a franchise quarterback. Just offensively, they just don't look very good. They don't look very. I mean, the receivers can't get open. Their offensive line is struggling to protect Mariota. I mean, it's a mess. And plus, their coaching staff's not very good on offense either. So I think it's going to be rough for them on the road again for the second straight week. New England at Buffalo. I like the Patriots in this one. I don't buy Buffalo as a contender, even though they're 3-0. Good for them, Good for Josh Allen, who is. I mean, there you can see that there's improvements in his game as far as being a quarterback is concerned, but I just don't think they can play. They can't play average against this team against the Patriots. They will be at home. I think they will keep it close for a little bit, but I just think the Patriots will pull away in the second half and go to 4-0. Kansas City at Detroit. I'll go with the Chiefs, despite the fact that Detroit is undefeated technically at 2-0-1. But I like what I see from the Kansas City Chiefs. I would like to see their defense get more shine and elevate their game as much as well as not close to the same level as Patrick Mahomes, but kind of like be competent at least. Be good enough to complement what the offense and what he can do. Because if like I said, you know, already this year, defensively, this defense can hold the Chiefs back again for the second straight year, and I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes win another MVP in the regular season and then have uh, his playoff journey end because his defense can't get the job done. So that's what I hope doesn't happen. But I would like to see the defense get better as the season goes on, and yeah, I'll go with the Chiefs to go to 4-0. Raiders at the Colts. I'll go with the Colts here. Another road trip, kind of East Coast type of trip for the Raiders, traveling across the country. That's not really a good thing for West Coast teams, although Seattle did it a couple weeks ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers, so maybe it works for some teams, but not for the Raiders. I'll go with the Colts here. Chargers at the Dolphins. I'll go with the Chargers here because they're playing the Dolphins, and the Chargers have not looked very good. They have not looked very good whatsoever on either side of the ball, and that's very disappointing because I consider them to be a playoff team coming into this year. But I think they'll go to 500. They'll pull to 500 with an easy win over the Dolphins. Should be an easy win anyway. Redskins at the Giants. I'll go with the Giants on this one, and I'll give Jay Gruden some credit here. Not a ton of credit, but some credit for not giving in to you know, fan, input and putting Dwayne Haskins in last Monday night. That would have been a terrible decision to put him in that scenario against a great defense like Chicago. So I'll give him some credit for that, but I think he needs to find different. I know he's got Case Keenum to deal with as his quarterback, and that's not that's not an easy task, but he's got to figure out a way to. He's got to do more to try to put Case Keenum in some type of position to where he can succeed on offense, which again is saying a lot, but I don't. I mean, maybe this could be the game where Keenum struggles so much to the point where, he says, you know what, enough of this. I'll just put in Dwayne Haskins. And maybe we'll see Dwayne Haskins in this game or not. Who knows? Maybe if Keenum throws 2 or 3 interceptions in the first half, he says, you know what, screw it. I'll just put in Dwayne Haskins, see what the rookie can do. But speaking of rookies, Daniel Jones looked pretty solid. He looked good. He wasn't perfect, but he looked good last week up against Tampa Bay. You can clearly see he can do things that Eli Manning just simply can't do, like be mobile and run the football. I think for Pat Shurmur, that can open up a lot more possibilities with this offense. And I know it's just one game. I know people are already praising him and crowning him the king of New York. But I think we need to quell expectations just a smidge. But I'll go the Giants to win their second straight game and go to 500. Cleveland at Baltimore. Man. I like Baltimore in this one. I think Cleveland falls to 1-3. I don't like the fact that Cleveland offensively as a whole just does not look very good. And it's not just one big thing. It's a collection of there's plenty of blame to go around, really. Baker Mayfield needs to stop abandoning clean pockets. The offensive line needs to protect better. Freddie Kitchens needs to stop being so damn pass happy and run the football more. I mean, they had 4 plays inside the 5-yard line that could have tied the game for them late against the Rams last week, and Nick Chubb didn't get a single carry. Like that's inexcusable. Like you have an offensive line that's pretty good, not great, but good enough to run block for Nick Chubb inside the 5-yard line. Why is he not getting the football in that situation? And hell, we just saw it last night with the Packers on 2 separate occasions. Like not giving the running back the football in that situation. I don't know, man. I love pass happy offenses as much as the next person. But when you're in the red zone and you're inside the 5-yard line and you're if you're like on the half-yard line and you're not running it, that's inexcusable. That's pathetic. But anyway, I'll go with Baltimore. They look really good for the most part. Yes, they lost last week to Kansas City. But I think there's a lot of good to come out of that game if you're Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, to where I feel like they could beat the Chiefs on the road in January, but there's things they need to clean up first before they can get to that point. But I'll go with Baltimore to rebound at home. Carolina at Houston, I'll give the check mark to the Texans because they're at home. If this was in Carolina, I would probably lean towards the Panthers. What's the dude's name? Kyle Allen. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty sharp. Also helped that they had a quarterback who was truly healthy. I don't think Cam Newton is truly healthy at all. Even if he didn't have the bad foot injury, I just don't think his shoulder is at 100%. As much as he wants to make everybody else think that his shoulder is at 100%, but I'll go with the Texans for this game here. Tampa Bay at the Rams. I'll go with the Rams. I just don't see Tampa Bay putting up enough points to beat the Rams. Although if Goff does struggle, which he tends to do a lot, they could possibly find a way to win this. But I don't see it happening. I'll go with the Rams here to go to 4-0. Seahawks at the Cardinals. I'll go with the Seahawks on this one. I'm very disappointed in the Cardinals, the fact that they could not get their first win last week, and I don't think they're getting it this week either. So I'll go with the Seahawks to rebound from their loss at home to the Saints. Minnesota at Chicago. I'll give the check mark to the Bears. I think this could very well be. This will end up being a very bad day for Kirk Cousins. I know they have relied heavily on the run with Dalvin Cook, which is good to see because I think he's extremely underrated. But I think Chicago will do enough to stop the run to the point where Kirk Cousins has to throw the ball 30, 35 times. And when that happens, bad things tend to happen for Kirk Cousins. And I think they will force enough turnovers. And I think Trubisky will look competent enough. I mean, he looked good in the first half. I thought he looked really good, But I think I think the Bears will take this at home. Jacksonville at Denver. This game means nothing. Both teams are not going to make the playoffs. I'll go to Jackson. I'll go the Jaguars to get to 500 because I think they have the better quarterback at the moment. That's just me. Gardner Minshew the second. I mean, he's got a certain look, certain appeal that people just gravitate towards. I got nothing else. I got nothing else to add to this game. Both teams are not that very good. Sunday Night Football game, Dallas at New Orleans. This should be a good one. This should be a really good game. I can understand why Dallas is favored by the folks at Vegas, and I can also understand why Football Power Index has the Saints being favored. So it's kind of one of those toss-up type of games where you can see either team winning. Would it surprise me if New Orleans wins this? Absolutely not. Dallas, I feel like this is a good test for them, despite the fact Drew Brees will not be playing in this, and instead it'll be Teddy Bridgewater. I'm gonna stick with Dallas on this one. I kind of figured because the game's in New Orleans, I think that would give the edge towards New Orleans because of the crowd noise. This is going to be a good early test for Kellen Moore in his offensive ways against the Saints defense. So I think it'll be a close game throughout. I don't think either team is going to really distance themselves from the other. I think it might come down to whoever has the ball last, and I think that might end up being Dallas, and I think they will win by 4 points. I think they'll win 28-24. I think that'll be a good score to have. It'll be a good game to watch. Speaking of, I can't say this will be a good game to watch. Monday Night Football game, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I'll go with the Bengals to win this one. I've been more optimistic about the Bengals despite being 0-3 than I have been the Steelers, who are also 0-3. I think the talent is there for the Bengals as far as their skill position is concerned, but their offensive line is not really the strongest, and neither is their quarterback. But also their defense is kind of not very good. But I think they'll put up more points than Pittsburgh. I think that'll prove to be the difference. Well, of course, because if you score more points than the other team, then you win. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, those are my picks. Hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, Super Yankee for Life signing off. Peace.